Hello dear students, a very good morning to you all. Today's class is a continuation of the same chapter. Chapter 8, Herald or Hornbill. Okay, so we have already discussed almost half of the chapter. Today I'll explain from where I stopped in my last class. Till now we have learned who was Harold, how he was born, where he was reared, where he was brought up, the condition of the nest and the circumstances. How he fell down from the nest, and later on what happened to him. How the narrator and his grandpa took him to their house and kept him, took care of him, fed him, and after some time he recovered. He got well. And during that time, actually, what happened, I think we are going to get in the next part of the chapter. So open your book at page number 46. Almost the last paragraph. Before the last paragraph, let's just follow the lines. Here it goes. One afternoon, a veranda tea party was suddenly and alarmingly convulsed by a flash of black and white and noisy flapping. So one afternoon, what happened? A veranda tea party. That means maybe their family members or maybe somebody else, they were having a tea party. They were eating something. They were drinking tea together. Then what happened? Suddenly and alarmingly, means all got surprised. By what? By convulsed. Convulsed here means disturbed. Everyone got surprised. Everyone was disturbed by a flash of black and white and noisy flapping. So flapping means when the feeders, with the help of the feeders, the sound they make when they fly. So it is called the flapping. So they were shocked. They were surprised. They were disturbed by the flapping of flash of black and white. Means here these birds describe the hornbill. That means the hornbill flew to the place and they got disturbed when they were drinking tea. Then what happened? And behold means look. Look means behold means look. The last and only loaf of bread had been seized by Harold. So Harold took the last piece of bread which was left over there. So Harold took or seized a piece of bread, loaf. Then loaf of bread he took and Harold and carried off to his purse near the ceiling. So here purse is a place where he used to take rest. So he took the loaf of bread and flew away and took rest on that particular place where he used to take rest, and it is near the ceiling. Harold was not beautiful by Hollywood standards. So here Hollywood standard means Hollywood film industry. That means that means there are some norms, or you can say that the stars are looking very beautiful, handsome, pretty, right? So he was not, if you look Harold from that point of view, he is not so beautiful. He is not so, handsome, you can say. He had a small body and a large head. So what is the structure of his body? His body is small and his head is very large in comparison to his body. But he was good natured and friendly. So what was his nature? What type of bird he was? Harold was. He was good natured, good mannered and friendly. He was very friendly and remained on good terms with most members of the household during his lifetime of 12 years. So you see, he had been living in the house of the narrator for 12 years, and during that time he proved to be very friendly. He was very good natured and He was very familiar. He was in good terms with the members of the family. Harold's best friends were those who fed him. So he liked to eat very much. That's why Weaver gave him something to eat. So they became more, close to him. So they became his best friends. So that's why it is said Harold's best friends were those who fed him. And he was willing even to share his food with us. So he was willing to share his food, means he is not like that he himself will only eat everything. So he is willing to share. Sometimes trying to feed me with his great beak. So you see, since he became so much familiar, he had been living for 12 years, so he sometimes fed the narrator with his great beak. While I turned down his offers of beetles and similar delicacies, I did occasionally share a banana with him. So what was his favorite food? Here it is written beetles and similar delicacies, like we already got that he liked to eat insects, fruits, and animal. Okay, so they brought for Harold these type of foods, and he was willing to share with the narrator, but since it is not possible for him to eat, so he turned down his offers. He did not accept his offer, but sometimes or occasionally he shared a banana with him. So both of them, whenever he, with the help of the pig, he the Harold fed the narrator, he accepted, he ate. Means eating was a serious business for Harold, so he liked it. And if there was any delay at meal times, so delay means late, if they bring late, if he is given food a bit late, then what happens? He would summon me, he would call, he would shout. How? With raucous barks and vigorous bangs of his bill on the woodwork of the kitchen window. So he shouted. You can see that here. You see, raucous barks means loud and rough calls. He shout. And vigorous bangs means he strike. Where? With the help of his bill on the woodwork of the kitchen window. He used to strike he banged the kitchen window if the narrator is late in feeding him, giving food to him. Harold gave much time and thought to his personal appearance, so he was very much conscious, careful about his appearance, okay, his physical beauty. Let's see how it is. He carried a rough pot on his person and used it very skillfully as an item of his morning toilet. So he carried a rough pot on his person. He carried himself a rough pot and used it very skillfully, very carefully, very skillfully, in a very expert way as an item. That pot, that rough pot, he used as a item of his morning toilet. So he used to toilet there in that rough pot. He used to carry the rough pot. And this rough pot was a small gland. So it was, means God gifted. When he was born, he got it. It's a gland, okay, situated above the roots of his tail feathers. So you just imagine the root of his tail feathers. Tail feathers, some feathers are there in his tail, okay, his tail feathers. So at the root of the tail feathers, he had a gland, small gland, and it produced a rich yellow fluid. So that gland produced yellow fluid, some liquid type of things that gland produced. That gland is situated where? Above the root of his tail feathers. Understood? Harold would dip into his rough pot from time to time and then rub the color over his feathers and the back of his neck. So he used to, maybe perhaps it's not mentioned, with the help of his beak, or he himself dip into the rough pot from time to time. He himself put in and then rub the color over his feathers. He used to color the feathers, okay, with the help of that yellow fluid. Color the color over his feathers and the back of his neck. That's why that particular place is you see, yellow. Okay, it would come off on my hand whenever I touched him. So he had the experience of getting that yellow fluid when he caught the bird. So in his hand also sometimes he got the color, okay, of that yellow color he found. Harold would toy with anything. So toy with anything means here play with anything casually. Harold would toy with anything bright or glittering, often swallowing it afterwards. So you see what type of, it is his nature. He used to play with anything that is bright. The color is bright and glittering, that sparkles, that dazzles, okay, glitters, often swallowing it afterwards. He used to play first, then later on he used to, eat, swallow, So, dear students, let me stop here. I'll continue the later part in my next class. Thank you.